let us know if you are able to see the stream, and right, so it does say that we are on X as well.
Very good. Yes, we are live now.
Yeah, we are back live again. Okay, must have been some kind of a glitch.
Means. Now, I propose to fully exempt cobalt powder and waste, the scrap of lithium-ion battery, lead, zinc, and 12 more critical minerals. This will help secure the availability for manufacturing in India and promote more jobs for our youth. To promote domestic production of technical textile products, such as agro-textiles, medical textiles, and geotextiles at competitive prices, I propose to add 2 more types of shuttle-less looms to the list of fully exempted textile machinery. I also propose to revise the BCD rate on knitted fabric.
Right.
So, those who are saying that we are a free market economy, how is the government deciding what technology needs to be applied in the shuttle looms and whatever textile technology that we are adopting? And who is the bureaucrat and the finance minister to decide what technology needs to be is crucial to the industry and needs to be imported and exempted from cess and all? This is what Mrs. talks about. That market, Mrs. and Hayek talk about. The market information is missing in this segment. How does she come at the estimate that we require 20,000 crore for this and 1 lakh crore for that? Who is sitting, and why are these always round figure numbers?
That is true.
I'm going to say, if you quote a budget for something, you don't. Yeah, I understand that you need to go into round figures. But why is it always a multiple of tens and multiples of five or something like that? And why are these budgets so big? Why isn't they moving the direction of let's do it for something cheap? Why is proposing a bigger budget something to be proud of?
True. Uh, it seems like we are listening to a corporate presentation by a company.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That
It's
this is a
one
corporate
company that is running the country, and we are listening to
corporate
its presentation.
corporate agenda of which we are just paying for the services and getting nothing in return.
Right. Right. So let's again listen to the budget.
Non-carrier grade Ethernet switches. Export promotion. To facilitate exports of handicrafts, I propose to extend the time period for export from 6 months to 1 year, further extendable by another 3 months if required. I also propose to add 9 items to the list of duty-free inputs. Leather sector. I propose to fully exempt BCD on wet blue leather to facilitate imports for domestic value addition and employment. I also propose to exempt crust leather from 20% export duty to facilitate exports by small tanners. Marine products. To enhance India's competitiveness in the global seafood market, I propose to reduce BCD from 30% to 5% on frozen fish paste, surimi, for manufacture and export of its analog products. I also propose to reduce BCD of fish and shrimp feed. In July 2024 budget, to promote development of domestic MROs for aircraft and ships, I had extended the time limit for export of foreign origin goods that were imported for repairs from 6 months to 1 year and further extendable by 1 year. I now propose to extend the same dispensation for railway goods. Time limit for provisional assessment. Presently, the Customs Act 1962 does not provide any time limit to finalize provisional assessments, leading to uncertainty and cost to trade. As a measure of promoting ease of doing business, I propose to fix a time limit of 2 years, extendable by a year, for finalizing the provisional assessment. I propose to introduce a new provision that will enable importers or exporters, after clearance of goods, to voluntarily declare material facts and pay duty with interest but without penalty. This will incentivize voluntary compliance. However, this will not apply in cases where department has already initiated audit or investigation proceedings. For industry to better plan their imports, I propose to extend the time limit for the end use of imported inputs in the relevant rules from 6 months to 1 year. This will provide operational flexibility in view of cost and uncertainty of supply. Further, such importers will now have to file only quarterly statements instead of a monthly statement.
Can you stop it?
I now come to my direct tax proposals. In Part A, I
Let's
have
listen to
briefly
the
underlined
direct tax.
taxation reforms as one of key reforms to realize our vision of Vikasit Bharat. In respect of criminal law, our government had earlier ushered in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, replacing Bharatiya Danda Sanhita. I am happy to inform this august House and the country that for new income tax bill will carry forward the same spirit of Nyaya in its drafting as well. The new bill will be clear and direct in text, with close to half of the present law in terms of both chapters and words. It will be simple to understand for taxpayers and tax administrators, leading to tax certainty and reduced litigation. Reforms, however, are not a destination. They are means to achieve good governance for our people and economy. Providing good governance primarily involves being responsive. The Tirukural captures this in verse 542, which reads, "Vaanokki vaazhum ulagallam, mannavan kol nokki vaazhum kudi," meaning, just as the living beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. Our government is committed to keeping an ear to the ground and a finger on the pulse and responding while balancing our national building efforts. The following measures will detail just how our government will, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address. I repeat that sentence, sir. The following measures will detail just how our government, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address the needs voiced by our citizens. My tax proposals are guided by this spirit. The objectives of my proposals are as follows. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class. Rationalization of TDS and TCS for easing difficulties. Encouraging voluntary compliance. Reducing compliance burden. Ease of doing business. employment, and investment. I will come to my proposal on personal income tax towards the end. TDS and TCS, rationalization for easing difficulties. I propose to rationalize tax deduction at source, TDS, by reducing the number of rates and thresholds above which TDS is deducted. Further, threshold amounts for tax deduction will be increased for better clarity and uniformity. The limit for tax deduction on interest for senior citizens is being doubled from the present 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Similarly, the annual limit of 2.40 lakh rupees for TDS on rent is being increased to 6 lakh rupees. This will reduce the number of transactions liable to TDS, thus benefiting small taxpayers receiving small payments. The threshold to collect tax at source, the TCS, on remittances under RBI's liberalized remittance scheme, the LRS, is proposed to be increased from 7 lakh to 10 lakhs. I also propose to remove TCS on remittances for education purposes, where such remittances is out of a loan taken from a specified financial institution. Both TDS and TCS are being applied on any transaction related to sale of goods. To prevent such compliance difficulties, I propose to omit the TCS. I also propose that the provisions of the higher TDS deduction will now apply only in non-PAN cases. In July 2024, the delay for payment of TDS up to the due date of filing statement was decriminalized. I propose to provide the same relaxation to TCS provisions as well. The government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas. In line with this, we brought in updated return facility in 2022 for voluntary compliance by taxpayers who had omitted to report their correct income. Our trust in taxpayers was proved right. Nearly 90 lakh taxpayers voluntarily updated their incomes by paying additional tax. Taking this trust further, I now propose to extend the time limit to file updated returns for any assessment year from the current limit of 2 years to 4 years. I propose to reduce the compliance burden for small charitable trusts and institutions by increasing their period of registration from 5 years to 10 years. It is also proposed that disproportionate consequences do not arise for minor defaults, such as incomplete applications filed by charitable entities. Presently, taxpayers can claim the annual value of self-occupied properties as nil only on the fulfillment of certain conditions. Considering the difficulties faced by taxpayers, it is proposed to allow the benefit of 2 such self-occupied properties without any condition. To streamline the process of transfer pricing and to provide an alternative to yearly examination, I propose to introduce a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years. This will be in line with global best practices. With a view to reduce litigation and provide certainty in international taxation, the scope of safe harbor rules is being expanded. A number of senior and very senior citizens have very old national savings schemes accounts. As interest is no longer payable on such accounts, I propose to exempt withdrawals made from NSS by individuals on or after 29th August 2024. I am also proposing to allow similar treatment to NPS Vatsalya accounts as is available to normal NPS accounts subject to overall limits. In my speech in July 2024, I had promised that all processes, including giving effect to appellate orders, shall be digitalized and made paperless over the next 2 years. So I'm happy to announce that digitalization is being made operational now. In July 2024, we brought in the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme to resolve income tax disputes pending in appeal. The scheme has received a great response, with nearly 33,000 taxpayers having availed of the scheme to settle their disputes. I have a few proposals to promote investment and employment. It is proposed to provide a presumptive taxation regime for non-residents who provide services to a resident company that is establishing or operating an electronics manufacturing facility. I further propose to introduce a safe harbor for tax certainty for non-residents who store components for supply to specified electronics manufacturing units. Presently, the tonnage tax scheme is available only to sea-going ships. The benefits of existing tonnage tax scheme are proposed to be extended to inland vessels registered under the Indian Vessel.
Thoughts on the direct taxation so far, Tushar?
Yeah, she said that. I will talk about that in the end.
Okay, let's wait.
And startup ecosystem. I propose to extend the period of incorporation by 5 years to allow the benefit available to startups which are incorporated before 1/4/2030. In order to attract and promote additional activities in the IFSC, I am inter alia proposing specific benefits to ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers of global companies which are set up in IFSC. Further, to claim benefits, the cutoff date for commencement in IFSC has also been extended by 5 years to 31/3/2030. Category 1 and Category 2 AIFs are undertaking investments in infrastructure and other such sectors. I propose to provide certainty of taxation to these entities on the gains from securities, to promote funding from sovereign wealth funds and pension funds to the infrastructure sector. I propose to extend the date of making an investment by 5 more years up to 31st March 2030. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class. Democracy, demography, and demand are the key support pillars in our journey towards Vikasit Bharat. The middle class provides strength for India's growth. This government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, has always believed in the admirable energy and ability of the middle class in nation building. In recognition of their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right after 2014, the nil tax slab was raised to 2.5 lakhs of rupees, which was further raised to 5 lakh rupees in 2019 and to 7 lakh rupees in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
What happens after that is what we need to know.
Where is the but?
There is a but. I'm sure all of their salaries are more than 12 lakhs, no, for sure. Everybody sitting in.
Their salaries, their daily. Their daily food expenditure may be more than that.
Capital gains under the new regime. This limit will be 12.75 lakh for salaried taxpayers due to the standard deduction of 75,000. Slabs and rates are being changed across the board to benefit all taxpayers. The new structure will substantially reduce the taxes of the middle class and leave more money in their hands, boosting household consumption, savings, and investment. In the new tax regime, I propose to revise tax rate structures as follows: 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil, 4.8 lakh rupees to 4 to 8 lakh rupees 5%, 8 to 12 lakh rupees 10%, 12 to 16 lakh rupees 15%, 16 to 20 lakh rupees 20%, 20 to 24 lakh rupees 25%, and above 24 lakh rupees 30%. To taxpayers,
And it's
to
going to
taxpayers
kill everybody.
up to 12 lakh of normal income other than special rate income such as capital gains. I read that again. To taxpayers up to 12 lakh of income other than special rate income such as capital gains, tax rebate is being provided in addition to the benefit due to slab rate reduction in such a manner that there is no tax payable by them. The total tax benefit of slab rate changes and rebate at different income levels can be illustrated with a few examples. A taxpayer in the new regime with an income of 12 lakh rupees will get a benefit of 80,000 rupees in tax, which is 100% of tax payable as per the existing rates. A person having income of 18 lakh rupees will get a benefit of 70,000 rupees in tax. That is 30% of tax payable as per existing rates. A person with an income of 25 lakh gets a benefit of 1,10,000 rupees. That is 25% of his tax payable as per existing rates. Details of my tax proposals are given in the annexure. As a result of these proposals, Honorable Speaker, sir, revenue of about 1 lakh crore in direct taxes and 2,600 crores in indirect taxes will be foregone. Mr. Speaker, sir, with this, I commend the budget to this august House.
Item number.
Well, I think the financial.
Well, Tushar, so taxpayers, are they going to be happy, or what is going to be the scene now? Like, what is your like prediction?
Well, I was
on what's
just
going to
keeping
happen?
track of the market, and I expected it to be neutral, and this is what.
The volume is a little less, I guess.
I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as expected, markets didn't fluctuate that much. It was going up during the initial phase, and then it crashed down. Now it's back to where it started, as you can see already see on the graph. So these bits and pieces provisions don't make of a difference. And her quoting that we are foregoing revenue of 4 lakh crores. So the mafia was unhappy with the reduction in.
Yeah, so that I think that was a similar statement even done last time in the tax. But look at the tax slabs, for every 4 lakh, like, I don't understand, 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 24. I mean, 4 lakh is what? I mean, what is it? Like, it's about like $5,000. I mean, like for every 5,000, that's it, right? $5,000, am I right? For about 4 lakhs. So it's very strange. Like now the system seems to be more And after 25 lakh you tend to lose like a lot more money than you bargained for. So it's I think what do you think is going to happen to that? Pardon?
I'm audible? Yes.
Yeah.
See, basically, what they are trying to do is playing the balancing act, that we forego something here, we gain something there. And let's talk about the fun part. So, what will a libertarian budget look like? Libertarian libertarian budget will basically be these are the receipts. This is how much revenue was created. This is how much revenue was generated, which will be really paltry. This will be our major expenses, which will basically be the defense expenditure and just be maintaining some level of government machinery. And that's it. We won't be doing any of these. That we will be reforming the crooked India Post and things like that. We won't, and we will tweak 5% here, and we will do this, that, there. I think we can.
It's almost like letting everybody do their business and just the receipts collection. That is kind of what the libertarian model is, right?
Yeah, it will hardly take 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Like this was the revenue. This is the forecast, and this is our expenditure. That's it.
And I'm sure all kinds of tax rates will be like one number, right? It won't be
zero.
Zero. Tax will be zero, right?
Yes, tax will be zero.
So the taxes will be
taxes will be zero, tariffs will be zero, regulations will be zero. So none of these where I am shifting, I am streamlining this, I am doing that. None of that. Government isn't a corporation.
Right.
It shouldn't act like a corporation. So
right. Yeah. At any day, the government in a libertarian system they are enablers, right? We are enablers to the system. We are not trying to make ourselves the head of anything, or the Libertarian parties never try to make themselves the hero of this entire economic story. The hero should be the people. Ideally the heroes are the people, and we have more hero stories than we'll ever imagine under a libertarian system and a society that works that way, right?
One thing I would like to specifically mention is that I was having this conversation with my friend, and we were talking about a certain feature was introduced in a game that we play. And I was saying that why didn't this feature exist before?
Okay.
It was so obvious for this feature to exist. And he was like, if every feature is introduced, if every feature existed in the first version, why would they make the next version? So this is basically what the government is doing, that if every reform is done in one budget, what will they be doing the next time?
Yeah, there is no getting ahead of the curve, and like it's almost like we are inching our way towards that ultimate goal of saying, okay, for 50 lakhs you won't have any tax, right? So by that time, I think 50 lakhs will be like 10 lakhs. That will be the kind of inflation we will face.
So so 5% inflation means basically every 5 means 70, 14. Every 14 years, your currency cuts in half. So the best example being that right now for 10 rupees kurkure, for the 20 rupees kurkure has the same capacity that the 10 rupees kurkure used to have 14 years ago. So you can actually see it in your real life. So.
Right. And even it may not even be 14 years. I think there will be like a reduction in that as well as time goes on, right? Like it could be like 10 years next time, and it could be like 8 years for the next cycle.
Basically, divide the inflation, whatever the inflation rate is, divided by 70, and you will get the number of years that it will take to half the value of purchasing power of the currency.
So do you think at least these reforms that are coming, is it going to reduce inflation? Because I don't really see that happening. Is it going to really strengthen our economy? What are these areas that is going to strengthen our economy right now?
some things that they have done regarding imports would save some sectors, like they are removing cesses and all. Some capital infusion would make some difference, would provide some relief, but that too is just papering over the problems that they have already created by market distortion. So will it improve things dramatically? No. But will it provide some relief because of the problems that they have created? Yes. So
Yeah, that's the point, right? The problems that they have created, that's the main issue, and now we are trying to resolve them one by one. Reactions on whether what is going to happen? Are taxpayers going to be happy, or what about the TDS for rents of homes, where it is increased for 6? Will that make any difference? How do you see that going?
how many homeowners do we really have? What percentage of population do we have? One question, one exercise that I would propose everyone does is try to watch the entire budget again and see how much of it was relevant specifically to you.
Right.
Specifically, yeah, this was of my interest. I think the most of the interest that the people really had was on how are they going to change the income tax rates.
Right.
And the government knew it, and they specifically kept it for till the end, so that people had to watch the entire speech and know that this will be coming at some point, and we need to like content creators do that. They put the reward in the end of the video, so that
Just
the
like
audience was.
any company who is going to launch a car or a mobile phone or anything, that's what they do, right? Put that little bit of, hey, the launch price is going to be just this.
Yes. Yes, they
At
put
the
they
end.
put the reward right at the end, or right at the end of the struggle. So the point of the exercise, that how much of it is, or how much of the budget is relevant to you, is to make you realize that since most of the administration isn't relevant to you, how complex of the machinery they are operating, that they have to cater to so many interests, and can they really cater to so many interests really well?
Right.
and
Right.
see and they have to repeat the exercise and course correct every year. So basically, they are each year they are basically making mistakes.
Right.
So this means that they should, and since the scope of the mistakes is so huge, that they have to rely on such huge amounts of money to solve the problems. So
Yeah.
you need to realize that how much of a failure the overly centralized planned economy is, that some bureaucrats or some minister decides that this is the solution to the problem, and then you have to wait for a year to see the result. And if the problem isn't solved, you have to raise more taxes and may raise more revenue to solve the problem that you have already worsened.
So here's the thing, like one small regulation, one point that you mentioned, one small regulation can wipe out an industry, right? Like,
Yes.
for example, they raised I think the taxes on solar panels and equipments and all that by about 35% or something. I think it wiped out the entire private market. Like, how do they survive? How do they compete globally with their products and solutions? It was, I think, like you said, a lot of people will be very focused on the industry that they are in. And if you look at the industries that they are talking about, one was, of course, agriculture and farming and maybe some
Yeah, and
pulses, then the toy industry.
most of the speech is dedicated to sectors that a lot of the population is involved in, but that aren't that productive. And see how little time was allocated to talking about AI and technology and all. This paltry amounts of 10,000 crores and all these things were talked about. While these are the biggest unlockers of potential, and also one thing that they talk about, that we will be building our GPS. So you have to wait till now to build our GPS. In 2025, you're deciding that okay, we need to build
How would
this.
this have been different? How would this AI scenario have been different in the libertarian context of things?
Well, in the
So,
libertarian context, there wouldn't have been any capital restrictions. Like USA is raising hundreds of billions of dollars. Some similar thing would have happened here as well. So
I think we would have been ahead of the market also, right? Because there are no
Yes.
restrictions. People can actually go out there and look for newer technologies, take a chance on it, invest on it.
Yeah.
Do a lot of R&D as well.
Yeah,
Because
you
that real nobody's restricting anything here. So in the libertarian society,
you can you can see for yourself how much of investment Dubai and Singapore, Dubai is specifically Dubai is attracting in the AI and the crypto front.
right,
Loads
right.
and loads of people are moving to Dubai just because of low regulations, low taxations, and Dubai is the most recent entrant to becoming a megapolis.
Yeah, even they took advantage of everything right from their free economic zones where I think a lot of stock market people who dabble in the stock market, they're taking advantage of it. They would just get a free economic zone visa in Dubai and you can just go there, do your stock trading from there, and then come back to the country after like 6 to 8 months or whatever the time period is for you to be an NRI. And I don't know why we can't do that as well, because there are plenty of people here. Why don't we open our own free economic zones for people to operate under?
And yeah, you are making the right point. And additionally, one thing is that by raising taxes on high earners, you are burdening consumption. I mean, say those who have purchasing power, you are taking money from them.
Yeah. Yeah, if they probably had money to spend, they would spend on expensive items, right? And then
Yes,
automatically you get the receipts for that. So
yeah,
that
but
should be enough.
see, this is where the mental image and propaganda comes in. You think that the rich people will be spending money on a nonsense stuff, but
Right.
what you need to realize is that every smart rich man focuses on investing money rather than spending it. So naturally, he will be investing money in equipment, technology, and companies like that. So basically, capital will be allocated smartly. But what you are saying is that no, you won't. You have become rich because. So you are basically saying that you have become rich because of luck, and we can better allocate capital than you. So you will take a major chunk of your capital, and we will use it as per our intelligence. So you are basically a stupid fool who is lucky, and we are smart people who will take care of people.
I know when I see some of these business owners suffer through the initial days, right? They're just getting a loan and doing this and doing that, and suddenly a regulation comes in, takes them out. Then they are going to advise the rest of their generation never to do business. This has
Yeah,
happened. Like you will see it in your family, right? They'll be like, you go into business, you like, you get out of the house. So this is kind of a chain reaction that's happening. I think we have lesser smart entrepreneurs actually living in the country at the moment. They're all outside. They're somewhere else trying to make a living as opposed to being here. Case in point,
yeah.
like
You think that you can harass good hardworking people who are smart, and you can think that you can get away with it, and you are just one revolt away from yeah, basically everything crumbling to the ground.
right, right. So did they give anything for the stock for crypto? They didn't talk about that either, right? So the crypto community is also going to be pretty annoyed with this because they are consistently under regulations, mainly because I think the government is afraid of some new technology. But what are your thoughts on crypto and how would the Libertarian Party work with something like a technology like crypto?
See, crypto, specifically cryptocurrencies or cryptography technology.
Cryptocurrencies.
Cryptocurrency, see, currency competition is important. If private players can handle currency, then all and good. I don't see any problem with that. And
Right.
talking about all that, oh, it is used for money laundering and all. It wasn't like that. Money laundering came into existence when cryptocurrencies existed. We came into existence. Money laundering existed when cryptocurrency didn't exist. So this doesn't make any sense. Rather than
Right.
focusing on your law and order, you are focusing on how they transact money. That's some nonsense.
Right.
Currency competition is important, and libertarian policy would be aimed at currency competition to keep the check on this central bank RBI that we have.
Right. Right. how about, did they say anything about tourism? I don't remember if they said anything about infrastructure and tourism. Like, okay, so how would the Libertarian Party go about, getting an influx of tourists to come and visit our land? There are plenty of cultures, right? You go to different areas in a particular city itself, there are various cultures that tourists can actually experience. It's about that they are not able to experience it in a way of freedom, right? And that level of sophistication that a lot of other Southeast Asian countries have. Even if you go to a small country there, they do have decent roads, they do have decent network connectivity, and things like that, and it's clean, the place. How would the libertarian system go about improving something like tourism in India?
See, the standard answer is let the free market operate. But what can be done on the government front? The government front, the thing that need to be taken care of is that no one distorts the market like they are doing in Goa.
Right.
And sufficient law and order is provided that no one uses his brute force to corner the market. So basically, cartelization, to avoid cartelization.
Right.
And on the cleanliness front, it will be partnership between public and private. So some areas will have public service, and some areas will have private service, and some areas will have mix. So
Right.
that will be there. So these things can be done. And additionally, we talked about one of the podcasts also. We talked about how to revive tourism. So basically, each area has its own advantages, geographical advantages. They need to be doubled down. So, like Himachal, you have splendid views, and it is convenient for paragliding and activities like that. So, need to ensure that the industry isn't hampered by over regulation. Financial infrastructure is good, and things like that. So basically, what the libertarian government will try to do is ensure that there is maximum efficiency and there is no distortions due to some. Basically, there are no stupid. I like to call them stupid problems, like problems that aren't really problems and require simple solution, like with the click of with the signature, you can solve that problem. Those sort of problems you need to solve by a libertarian
Basically,
method.
any sort of interference needs to get
Yes.
away from the process.
Yes. Let free market operate. Let all sort of innovation happen. Let new sort of basically the tourism is basically about experiences. Let all those who are involved in the experience economy, let them innovate, experiment as much as possible. So this is what we will do.
A lot of people seem to have a frame of thought saying that, okay, if a lot of these private companies come into play, they are going to raise all the prices, and then we won't have any regulations on them. And so I know the answer to this, but at the end of the day, just for the benefit of the people, just to try to say, how does competition or the free market actually regulate the prices on their own, and how you don't have to be worried about this kind of thing. How would you explain that?
See, the basic question is how do monopolies? Let's start with economics. How are prices raised? So prices are dependent on. It is universally valid that prices are dependent on demand and supply. If something is limited in supply and high in demand, the prices will be high. And if something is ample in supply and there is a limited demand, then the prices will be low. So things like air will cost zero, while things like diamonds will cost millions. Right? So this is basically the demand and supply determines prices. This is well-established principle. No person in his right mind would deny it that demand supply doesn't operate. Demand supply doesn't operate. Now you may quote different things like Veblen goods that don't actually follow the demand supply principle, but there the definition of demand changes. So basically they are catering to a different need. So let's not get into that. But let's keep the fundamental basic assumption that demand and supply determines prices. So what private sector players are opposed for is that they will corner the market and raise prices. Because they have the monopoly and they have the ability to raise prices as much as they want. And so where the free market comes into play and why free market mechanism is able to reduce prices is because let's suppose that some prominent chain like Marriott comes into your area and decides to buy up all the hotels and make them luxury 5-star and raise the prices to whatever exorbitant amount they want to charge. So in a free market, first of all, Marriott will never have infinite resources to buy all the real estate in your area. There will always be some areas left where some private operator can start to compete with. Since different individuals have different demands. I will have different demands since I am a bachelor. You are a married man. You will have different demands.
Right.
So each individual has different demands, different pricing points, and different purchasing power. So market tries to cater to different individuals with different prices and different offerings and experiences. So in a free market, what will happen is that there will be even if some big player rises really to a really prominent position, there will be niches left where private players can still operate, which still happens right now. That where PSUs operate, private sector finds niches where they can operate. Like if HAL is building some large plane, some private player will try to focus on manufacturing a single component much better than HAL, which HAL can buy from that private player. So this is how this operates. So it isn't like to a limited extent free market isn't existing. But what the government does is where government comes into play and why free market is important is that for the business to maintain its monopoly, it has to still stay competitive. Marriott has to stay profitable to keep it for its prices to keep rising. If it isn't profitable, it won't be raising prices. But what ends up happening in our interventionist socialist system is that they get legal right to raise prices because they basically lobby the government and say that new businesses shouldn't be allowed in this area because it is hurting my business and my employees. So you are a democratic leader to support my workforce. You need to control prices or drive out other businesses. So in this way, cronyism, basically, which is called crony capitalism. Crony capitalism ends up hurting businesses, and which isn't capitalism, but a phenomena of socialism. Because if government has the power to intervene in the market, it isn't a free market anymore. Right. So this is why free market is able to reduce prices, because no player has ever in history ever had the power, except communists, ever had the power to absolutely regulate prices of everything. And since they because the resources are limited and they have alternative uses, which is one of the first lessons of economics. So private player emerges in niches. Even talking in simple examples like Walmart does a revenue of almost 500 billion, which is equivalent to the total manufacturing output of India, which is more than total manufacturing output of India. So Walmart does sale of 500 billion. Since US is a relatively free market, businesses like Amazon can emerge, and after businesses like Amazon have emerged, businesses like Zappos can emerge. Businesses like Shopify has come almost 15 years after Amazon.
Right.
And right now is at a valuation of 200 billion or 300 billion. So that's why Amazon cannot do everything. Although people think that it has the money to do everything, it cannot do everything. Similar thing that Google built its search engine. Still, ChatGPT came out of nowhere and took away a large chunk of the search market. So this is how free market reduces prices.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. That's kind of what it is. I mean, like even in, for example, they brought up healthcare as well, right? So healthcare, we are going to give daycare to cancer patients and things like that. I feel like there's a much better way to do all these things, right? I mean, how would the Libertarian Party go about, things like healthcare? I mean, I think it would have been a much better showing. So, I mean, could you explain how that would work?
See, the system that I have seen working and that can work in India is the one that of Singapore. So Singapore has mandated savings for retirement and healthcare and things like that. Retirement, education, housing, and healthcare. I think these savings in these four areas are mandatory for the citizens, and the funds are logged till you reach a certain age or things like that. So we will moving to such a model that savings, although we aren't supposed to do that. What I'm talking more in terms of how a city state will be able to solve this problem. So when we will decentralize it, different states will have different models, and this one seems to be succeeding the best. Also, Germany has a model of insurance capping where they have fixed the prices that you can only charge this much premium on insurance.
Right.
So insurance companies try to. So they have sort of capped the prices, basically fixed the rates that this is how much healthcare should cost. The companies can only now companies have to compete on additional offerings that they provide. So they build their doctors network and things like that to stay competitive. So we can move in that direction as well. But the best would be let the free market operate, let insurance companies and things like that let them handle the problem, and reduce regulations of pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, because there isn't going to be a cap on the number of insurance companies that can operate, right? Like as
Yes.
many as possible. So it will automatically bring down the sort of the pricing and stuff like that for all of these things, right? I mean, there'll be focus on even development of these drugs in-house. So that everything can be cheaper right from the start of the supply chain, right from material acquisition to raw material acquisition to the end product, to how it hits the market, how it is marketed, to how it is implemented. I think throughout the supply chain they will have a huge benefit when there is this level of competition around.
See, and one example I would like to also give is that we all know about Vivek Ramaswamy, the presidential candidate, and who just now left Doge of USA. So his business model was basically that there are stages of approval that medical companies basically any drug that comes into the market needs to pass through stages of approval to come into the market. So since even the largest of the companies like Pfizer and Minerva, they have limited resources and they cannot bet on every drug that comes. So some drugs stop at stage 1, some drugs stop at stage 2. So what Vivek found, what Vivek's model was that drugs in those he saw potential at stage 1 and stage 2, and he thought that they just needed some tweaks. And if he bought the rights for those drugs and made them pass through the stage 3, then he will be able to capitalize on those drugs. So this was basically his business model. And another thing to demonstrate that how niches come into play, that even when these pharmaceutical industries have budgets of hundreds of billions of dollars, still they aren't able to allocate resources to every drug that they have built.
Right.
So this is where niche players come into play, and they benefit from innovation. But that can only be possible when you are operating in relatively free market conditions. A similar thing cannot happen in India.
Right. How about does the same concept apply to education? Right now, like the stand from the center is that the schools take care of a lot of people who can't afford education. There is a free meal. There are free meals program as well. I think in Maharashtra recently, eggs were taken away from the free meal program for the students. So at the end of the day, like how does the libertarian system handle education in our country? Is it done locally? Is decentralized? How would we approach education, like as a concept, as a philosophy, and for the benefit of the people?
See, first of all, literacy is important, not degrees. Right. And with internet, education is almost education costs almost as much as your internet pack costs. So that is simply the cost. Basically, cost of education has plummeted. Now the next thing is that talking about public education. So, two major reforms that need to be done in public education are voucher system, which will introduce the element of consumer choice. So parents will be able to decide that this school is better for my child, so I will give the voucher to this school. And teachers will also have incentive to work harder and produce better results. Right now, the system is that whether the teacher shows up or not, he still gets his salary. So how teachers hijack the system is that they will come, give their attendance, and then go back home and do some other businesses that they are involved in. Maybe they are into milk distribution or something like, or taking care of farms, something like that. See, most of the public education is prevalent in rural areas as compared to urban areas where private schools are preferred. So yeah, so this reform will make a whole lot of difference because teachers will be up on their feet because they need to collect more and more vouchers to keep their salaries.
Yeah,
The next
something
thing that needs
as yeah. Sorry.
yeah
Go
the
on. Go
next
on.
thing that yeah the next thing that needs to be done is that the curriculum needs to be decided by the local industry as compared to some bureaucrat sitting in Delhi deciding that this is important. Right now, all the buzz is about AI, robotics. So they are artificially inserting AI and robotics. What will a student in rural Bihar who has to do with AI and robotics when he doesn't have simple facilities of roads and electricity? What will good AI and robotics education do to him? And what the clownery that ends up happening is that they are taught about AI and robotics in a class on a blackboard.
Right.
So this is what needs to be realized, that we are operating a really high free market division of labor really complicates the market, and you cannot have simple policy that will be applicable to all. No, you cannot have a sophisticated policy enough that will account for everyone's needs. So you need really simple policies, and you need to ensure that it doesn't create second order effects that will make the situation worse. And these sort of centralized problem, this centralized approach makes the problems worse. So in the libertarian system, what would be done is that suppose Bangalore specializes in IT, and what will end up happening is that all the colleges and in the Bangalore cluster will have their curriculum set up by the tech industries, and it won't be like Infosys will be deciding the curriculum for all. Different companies would collaborate with different colleges to set up curriculum in such a way that they can employ the students from those colleges. Like like Soho is doing in Sridhar Membu is doing in Tamil Nadu. So he has set up his own sort of training schools where students get educated and they directly get employed in Zoho, and he is doing that in rural areas of Tamil Nadu. So it isn't the problem that isn't that they are from Tamil rural areas, but problem is that they don't get employed from the education that they get, which is usually useless and aimed at making them clerks. So what needs to be done is that industry needs to collaborate with the local educational institutions so that market whatever time they invest in upskilling themselves, market actually has utility for it. It isn't like they are learning C++ and COBOL in a market that is operating on Python. And additionally,
Right.
some areas will have manufacturing clusters, so they will have specialization in maybe.
One point that I wanted to actually bring up is that when you said, okay, Bangalore is great in IT and stuff like that, right? I feel like with the libertarian system and the libertarian society, cities like Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, NCR, Hyderabad, Vizag, Chennai, and Kerala, and all these places, they probably will be good at everything, because you go talk to an IT guy and ask him what his actual dream is. He'll say, "Hey, I want to build robots, or I want to build, I want to be a shipfaring captain, or it could be literally their actual dream." Could be literally anything, while they were kind of forced into a system where they had to learn this coding so that they could survive in this. But when you in general interact with people,
No,
like
I was yeah, you are right. I was giving a simplistic example, and
right.
by localization, I didn't mean that in one corner of the Bangalore there is Infosys office, and in other corner some college is getting Infosys is
Right.
deciding the curriculum in some other corner of Bangalore. So basically, wherever ISRO is situated, the colleges near that will emphasize on aeronautical
Right.
engineering and things like that. So basically, see, where is this coming from? This is coming from the best model for agriculture development that we have right now is that of Netherlands. So in Netherlands, the farmers are in direct collaboration with the agricultural universities, and there is a feedback loop going on that whatever innovation the agricultural in universities put forth, the farmers test, they give feedback, and if farmers have some additional ideas, the universities work on them. So this is the collaboration between industry and education, and this
Right.
is highly localized. It isn't like
Yeah.
Amsterdam is doing all the education, all the innovation. Locally, local universities are involved as well. This is what I'm talking about. That whatever industry that you have, colleges are built up for whatever industries that you have. Colleges are built to cater to those, or curriculum is built to cater to those industries. And if you want to work, if you want to, because you need to get really good in a field, you need to have really high level of education, really high level of education and environment. So that's why why you have network effects. Like Bangalore started specializing. More IT individuals come to Bangalore, more more the businesses want to come to Bangalore to cater to the IT talent. So
Right.
this network effects come into play. So giving the simple example, since Microsoft is set up in Seattle, one of the reasons that Jeff Bezos set up Amazon in Seattle as well was that he wanted to cater to all the talent that Microsoft had built in Seattle. So
Okay.
yeah. So this was my point, that it isn't like Bangalore which specialize in IT. My point was that
No, at the
uh,
current scenario, that is you have no other choice, for the most part. Of course, FMCG like food industry, restaurants and all that are a great investment as well. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
if you want some professional career, I don't think there are many other things than the IT industry in Bangalore that you can really grow yourself. And there are multiple companies where if you do not like one, you have a choice of another 30. You know what I mean? Like the that system is the current system, and my point was it needn't be that way. You can have that as well, and you can have a great military sector as well, defense, making defense products as well, and you can have a great AI sector as well. You can have a great food production sector as well. You could have everything in a place like this is kind of what I meant by that.
yeah. See, whatever market signals are generated, the education system needs to cater to them
Right.
rather than on the whims of some bureaucrat.
Right, right.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
this is an yeah, this is yeah, exactly. That was what it was. It was like almost like an age-old thing that we are all herded into a specific line of thinking, and this is kind of, a lot of people kind of feel like they have no choice because sitting in a corporate environment isn't kind of for everyone. How about
Yes.
let's talk about like consumer and like social welfare basically. Like currently, what do you think the situation is, and in terms of social welfare as such, in the libertarian scheme of things, in a libertarian society and libertarian governance system, how would this aspect of things improve in terms of social welfare and would people feel differently about it? Would they be able to invest more about it, more on it? Like how would this system improve that?
Social welfare, as in.
Social welfare as in similar to the free market thing that we were initially discussing, like fixing things like a lake, for example, right? I mean, in terms of or maybe women's participation in more fields than one and things like that, or social justice as well. Uh,
I think we can shift to full screen now that it is over.
right, right, right. We'll do that.
Yeah. So see, I am not saying that these aren't issues. I don't support or don't I don't support or don't deny that. It isn't up to my judgment to decide whether they are real issues or not. But what needs to be done is that the government doesn't get in a libertarian system. The government doesn't tip the scale in favor of one particular direction. That needs to be ensured. That all this talk about right now, our government is operating in the Indian version of DEI, which is basically all the agriculture related industries, and then farmers and all, and then there are women. Basically, DEI is basically whatever their voter base is, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and all these things that they are basically trying to govern the country for them, and the rest are just left to pick the pieces of whatever is left. So that's the problem libertarians have, that the government shouldn't be tipping the scales in direction of anyone, in the favor of anyone, one community or things like that. But what needs to be done to solve these problems? There are definitely market solutions involved. There are charities, there are NGOs, there are social entrepreneurship ventures, there are profitable businesses that you can start. Additionally, what is very little talked about is that profit doesn't come out of, unlike what Marxists believe, profit doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes out when people voluntarily agree that this thing that you are giving me, suppose I give you whatever. Suppose I give you the whatever this art piece is. You will pay me. You won't pay me because you want to do some favor to me. You will pay me when you see some value in it, and I will offer you a discounted price. Suppose mentally you value it at 10,000 rupees, and I offer you it at 1,000. You will be like, it is such a huge bargain, and I see the opportunity in buying it. That I want my house. I'm willing to spend 10,000 to beautify my house, and this art piece, will be the price at which he is offering this art piece is such a huge opportunity that I will pay for it 1,000 willingly. To a normal individual, 1,000 will feel like, oh, it is a lot expensive and things like that. But you feel that I value this commodity this much that I'm willing to pay for it. That is where the labor theory of value is false, because prices aren't derived from the labor that you put into a particular thing. Prices are determined by what the other party is willing to pay you for it. That's where services come into play. That people think that why does a doctor charge 500 rupees just for 5 minutes? It isn't. The thing that he is offering is so valuable. He's literally saving your life. That him charging 500 or 600 doesn't make that much of a difference, because he is relieving you of such huge maladies. So, coming to why connecting this to how profits are coming to operate in solving problems. So those problems that will be profitable will be solved much quicker than those problems which haven't been figured out how to make them profitable. So these women's issues. So they talk about that, oh, women are facing injustice, oh, women are paid much lower. If women are paid much lower, wouldn't it be better for companies to hire just women, to lower the labor cost?
True, yeah, valid point, yeah. Right.
So why doesn't this happen? So this is just this is just distortionist nonsense. Fake issues we need to, and market is very good at identifying, chafing off fake issues from real ones. So this is a fake issue. Wage gap is a fake issue. They won't be ever be able to find a market solution to it. That's why they just lobby the government to introduce some fake legislation. Also, women's education. You know, in Iran, a higher percentage of women are into engineering than men.
Right.
How is it possible in an Islamist theocracy that more women are into engineering than men? And in Scandinavian countries it is the exact opposite. How is it possible that in the most equal, those who have tried to bring equality as much as possible in those countries, women are much more into fields that are associated with women than men? So, because they are operating in they are operating in market conditions, and they are creating in artificial distortions. So, similar thing is happening in USA as well. Women are much more number of graduates are women as compared to men. in certain areas. So
Right.
that is natural market mechanism, and since it doesn't suit the feminist cause, they just distort numbers. And things like climate change, Elon Musk has done much greater help to civilization in terms of climate change
Than anybody
by
else.
opening up his intellectual property rights and things like that, as compared to that larper Greta Thunberg, who just berates everyone and thinks that I am the best. And see, not commenting on her stupidity, but anyhow, what I'm making is the point, and Elon himself makes the point that these all are philanthropic venture. These all, philanthropy is love of humanity. He is doing all these things out of love for humanity.
Right.
So
Yeah,
on
and
the
it is, you made a very good point, because it wasn't just him selling those electric cars that made the difference. It was opening up the IP, opening up the industry, letting
yes,
everybody know this is how you can replicate these things, and it just spread like wildfire, like now almost every country is going to have their own electric cars and manufacturers and things like that because of this movement, really, at the end
yes.
of the day.
So no government, no one invited Elon Musk, no politician invited Elon Musk that saying that please make electric cars for us, please get rid of your IP so that the market can grow. He did it on its own volition, and see how the market is flourishing. And additionally, talking about SpaceX, so no government summoned Elon Musk that you need to create a reusable rocket or something will happen to you. It wasn't a whim of some politician or bureaucrat. He did it out of his own volition, realizing that civilization needs to be multiplanetary, and this is what needs to be done to make it multiplanetary. And additionally, purchase of Twitter. He realized that free speech is important to civilization, and that's why
Yeah. And a lot
the
of these things, a lot of these things was him uniting a lot of smaller players together to make this one big thing, right? So
yes.
it wasn't like he came up with everything about the car, everything about these rockets. No, I think he had a huge part in actually uniting that tech ecosystem that could actually unite together and make something like this happen. So it's
Yeah, definitely.
right,
Every great man stands on the shoulder of giants.
right,
That isn't disputed. But
right.
what a great man does is that he all the different strands that are going on, he converges them in a fruitful direction. It isn't like electric car technology didn't exist or mechanical engineering didn't exist, but he brought them together in this direction in a certain way that made them successful and flourishing for the entire civilization. So this is why free market is essential for good players to operate as well. You just point out to the bad actors and think that this is the free market. No, they exist in the free market, but they are sufficiently good enough. Basically, those who question the free market are questioning the good of humanity, that there aren't sufficient good human beings who can fight evil. That
Yes.
is what you are basically saying, that
Yeah, brings up a
e-
good point, because I also feel that there are a lot of like Elon Musk type personalities right from school. You can see them. When you look at some of your classmates, the ideas that they talk about, the things that they do in their projects, and things like that. But then when they grow up, they are nowhere. They are nowhere in life. They are like, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing some coding. When you look at the potential of when these people were growing up, so I'm not sure what is stopping people from actually achieving these kind of potentials in our country. Like, I mean, we all know what is
it is
stopping them, but
the obvious answer is lack of a free market. A free market would enable,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
a free
Yeah.
USA enjoys Elon Musk is possible in the United States because of the financial infrastructure and the technological infrastructure that they have. That has been built on the backs of a free market, not some government program.
True, true, true. Yeah, yeah.
See,
So yeah.
now DeepSeek came out, and they are thinking that now we will start and build our own, and we will do it in 10 months. So the
Yeah.
problem isn't that you want to do it. The problem is you only start doing it when the public starts crying.
There is no way this system can ever be ahead of the curve on
Yes,
in any department. We cannot be like overtaking somebody and saying, okay, other than maybe labor, because we have a lot of people also, I suppose. But even that it is not like it is not an industry that can really push innovation forward, right? So yeah. So the next question that I kind of had is, kind of like to end things on a note. A big thank you to the viewers. I think we have a lot of viewers on X right now, on the platform right now, close to 500 viewers on the X platform as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can send your questions at any time, even later. You can just drop it into our handles, and we will do more live sessions like this with the Libertarian Party. So to end on a note where like, let's talk about freedom in India, like freedom as it is now, and how would the Libertarian Party actually liberate people? And for the first time since 1947, can people actually experience true freedom in their lives? Like, you're not worried about anything, you can head out and you can do your thing, you can be successful, you can raise your family without any interference or whatever it is. How would the Libertarian Party sort of help people attain true freedom? Like nirvana is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. First of all, Milley also pointed it out that right now, if anyone, the common impulse is that if any novel idea is talked about, the first question is whether it is legal or not.
Yeah.
But when we come, the default position is that it is legal. It is not illegal. Second thing about enhancing freedom, our aim is to get and the irony is that I'm quoting Mr. Narendra Modi, who said that my aim is to get the government off your lives. He quoted that. He quoted this thing and didn't deliver on it. So basically, getting the government out of people's lives and let them move freely and do things. So this is what we will be doing, and we seem to be much closer to the sentiments that they talk about than. So
right.
This is the major thing that we will be doing.
So the only thing that's affecting freedom is the government then.
Yeah. Government is the biggest impediment to freedom, because individuals, if let's say you put some obstacle in the freedom of some individual, it will become a one-on-one fight. He will bring someone, or he will and you will bring someone. That is your personal confrontation. But some politician comes out of nowhere. He decides that I will resolve your dispute. He starts playing one side to the other and wants votes from both of you, and things like that come into play. So this is where distortions come in. Basically, referee trying to play both sides. So this is how libertarians get rid of this problem. That no, referee would be the referee, and if you don't need him, the match will continue. Referee will come into play only when there is some foul or something like that.
Right. Anyway, Tushar, do you have any more thoughts before we close the stream, or do we need to continue? What are your thoughts on your final thoughts on today's budget? And
my final thoughts was that I was absolutely right in my prediction that it will disappoint in both directions, which it has done. It will disappoint the optimists who were thinking that they will get rid of income taxes, which would never be happening.
That would be me. Taxes are for suckers.
Yes. Yeah, and we will. I have started we'll be starting on the merchandise like this soon. So
that is what we need to do. Yeah.
Yes, and secondly, it also disappointed the pessimists who were thinking that the tax slabs won't be changed and there won't be any deregulation or anything at all, and they would raise taxes. So nothing major like that happened. So as I said, that it would disappoint on both ends, and it has done disappointed on both ends.
Right.
But anyhow, if as my friend said that if all the perks were given in the version 1, what will we need version 2 for? So
yeah, I mean, it is like that we are always reaching for something but never getting there, right? That feeling of never being able to get there is, like, I think weighing on a lot of people. Like, they're like, hey, just remove things, remove regulations, do this. And that conversation is happening more and more now. So
yes,
even though they may not associate that with libertarianism, because it just proves that being a libertarian is just being a free person. It's so logical.
Yes.
It is not even like we don't even have to write a policy document on it. We just need to say you want to be free. That is being a libertarian. You are free.
Yes. Yes.
And you go out there, you do your thing, you achieve. You want to get into sports. Yes, there'll be plenty of players who will come in and help you out. There'll be plenty of free market competition there, so you can be part of 100 teams. It does not matter, and that I think people should realize that you can technically achieve that. There is a way to do that, but I think you need to start fighting for your rights, like a little bit. you need to ask for your rights at least. You need to, like, politely at least, you need to put it out there and just ask for your rights, and hopefully people will start understanding it, right? I mean, right. So anyway, thanks Tushar for joining the stream. Extremely, it was a mind-blowing session as always with you, and the rest of the Libertarian Party as well, who are watching the stream, and other people as well who are watching the stream. Well, whether you're disappointed or whether you're happy or whether you're still an optimist, keep talking about what you want for yourself instead of worrying about what's happening in other sectors. And I think that's your way forward. Like, keep talking about your life and yourself, because everything from charity and cleanliness, they begin at home. So
Yes.
so with that, we shall close the stream. Thank you all. Please
Thank you.
follow at Liberty Party Ind, at Liberty Party Ind on X, and join our spaces every Friday night at 9. We have book readings as well. Different times will be provided. I think
Also,
Thursday night at 9.
podcast episodes
Right.
are out now.
Yeah, the podcast episodes are out. 6 episodes, close to 5 hours of talking with the Libertarian Party. That's out as well. So please do that. And also, there's a new initiative called the Free Market India.
Free
Is that
market.
what it is? Yeah.
Real free market.
Real Free Market. Yes. At Real Free Market Ind is the Twitter handle.
Yes, Free Market Ind
yes.
is the handle, and Real
Yeah.
Free Market is the name.
Yeah. So at Free Market End we will put all those links up after this. Do join them, because this is about social causes, and this is about social entrepreneurship. How you can be an entrepreneur contributing to society as well as running your own business, and it'll form the basis of how you understand business in the free market world. So with that, thank you guys. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you, Tushar. We shall see you later. True freedom awaits. See you later.